crypto environmental mining debate. Bill Gates, Elon Musk have concerns, but when you talk to folks deep in the industry, they say that's a red herring.
I think that's right. Crypto mining can actually be used as a huge benefit to promote very beneficial infrastructure and capture otherwise wasted energy resources like natural gas that gets flared in the oil field. It's also, very useful to unlock value in otherwise stranded renewable energy resources that are generating power capacity that doesn't have a home to actually be consumed. So when you look at the actual global footprint of Bitcoin mining energy consumption, it's shocking. It's shockingly driven by a lot of these wasted energy resources.
And when we say mining, we really mean a bunch of engineers and computers running very complex math problems, trying to solve those problems to mine that cryptocurrency. Talk to us about what Crusoe is in fact doing. How are you using some of this excess energy to power these mining operations?
Sure. So Crusoe has a solution called digital flare mitigation. And what it does is we, in the oil industry, there's something that happens called flaring. And flaring persists when oil companies drill oil wells, and natural gas is an associated byproduct of that oil production. And when they don't have the physical infrastructure to transport that gas to a downstream market where it can actually be consumed, they're sort of stuck in this situation where the best, most economic, and most efficient thing to do with it is to just light it on fire. And this actually creates a massive emissions footprint and a massive waste of an otherwise, useful energy resource. So Crusoe's solved that problem by basically co-locating data centers on site with the oil production. And now instead of the gas being flared, we're able to utilize it to generate power and then utilize that power to power data centers that we use for very energy intensive computing applications like Bitcoin mining, training large scale artificial intelligence algorithms, and generating rendering for graphics and animation development.
I'm curious what the conversation was like when you asked oil operators and ranchers and farmers if you could move servers onto their property to mine Bitcoin, which some people might not even know what Bitcoin is.
Sure, it was definitely a leap for them, but I think as a whole the industry has been very, very receptive to the idea, largely because they see it as a solution to flaring. I think the response early on from a number of operators was, I don't really care what you're doing with the gas, so long as you're sort of making my flare go away. That's a huge environmental win for me, and it's a huge benefit to my overall production process.
So talk to us about how big your operations are. We mentioned Montana, North Dakota, you're expanding in Texas.
That's correct. So currently we've deployed about 45 systems, primarily in North Dakota and Montana. We're expanding. So that area is called the Bakken. It's one of the largest oil basins here domestically in the United States. And we're planning to expand down into the Permian Basin, which is in West Texas, later this year. The team's about 75 people. That's sort of geographically dispersed between Denver, San Francisco, and a big field operations staff in North Dakota to support our on-site operations. And that's kind of where we're at today. We just closed a Series B round of funding, which was led by Valor Equity Partners, and we had great participation from other climate tech investor groups like Lower Carbon Capital as well.
And also some, crypto-focused folks like Coinbase, the Winklevoss twins.
Yep.
We've seen this big crackdown from China on mining. We're seeing regulatory action being taken in the UK. We're waiting for regulators to take a stand on cryptocurrency here in the United States. What have your conversations with regulators been like?
Generally speaking, I think very positive. I think the regulatory climate here in the United States has been, very thoughtful around both Bitcoin mining and around flaring. I think, when you look at a state like North Dakota, they're sort of, between a rock and a hard place where, 45% of the state's revenue is generated from the oil industry, and flaring is a big problem, and they want to do the right thing. But if they over-regulate it, they kind of outlaw the industry. And coming to the table with an innovative solution like digital flare mitigation that can actually create economic value while also reducing the environmental footprint of the oil industry has been very, very well received in markets like that. As far as the China ban goes,
and with China cracking down,
sure.
Well, I guess my question is, where do you think mining is going to spread next? If it's not going to happen in China, is that a huge boon to the United States or elsewhere?
Absolutely. I think it's a great thing for the industry as a whole. I think it's a great thing for the Bitcoin network. One of the big criticisms has always been that the mining process is highly concentrated in China. There's a lot of obscurity and opaqueness to that. And with the ban in China, you're seeing that hash rate get distributed around the globe, and you're seeing you're seeing the benefits of decentralization. The network is still continuing to operate, and you're seeing a massive influx of hash rate to areas like North America. Central Asia is a big beneficiary of this as well. And I think it presents a great opportunity to build a whole new industry domestically here in North America.